Okay, check.
And I was like, girl, now I know you're crazy.
And it just started pouring outside. Hopefully.
Same, dude. It's like we're looking up at the same moon, dude.
Hey, oh.
It's raining in Charlotte.
How is it there?
Humid and stupid.
Oh. So let's start the show, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Pat.
Oh, we're starting?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Can we do a countdown real quick?
Do we need to? I'm already recording everything.
Yes.
Okay, count it down.
3, 2, 1.
You feel better now?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. That does feel better.
Okay. So, yes, sudden change in audio. We forgot to plan for you being out of town this week.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about why you're out of town or no?
For work. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a thrill, quite frankly. It feels like you're getting away with something almost. I do miss Jesse, though. But it's like just kind of my job was to get to a different city today. And then I'll go to a conference room tomorrow and listen to stuff. And it's exciting. How
long are you gone for?
Till Thursday.
Okay. Very cool.
North Carolina is my home. And I'm going to try some tangy barbecue.
Ooh.
And be kind of sweaty, I think that's the whole state in a nutshell.
Very cool. I should have been out of town today until Thursday.
Whoa.
Today is the first day of podcast movement, which we discussed at great
could have gone
length.
to Philly, man.
I know. I know. I think we might have talked about it. I did not plan on going this year because it was rather close to the wedding. And I didn't think I'd have the time off. I could not anticipate that my work schedule would change to Thursday through Saturday, meaning I would only miss one day of work had I gone. And by the time I realized that, the tickets for the conference themselves had already tripled. And then adding on the flights, I just couldn't come up with, like $900 in a week.
The cheddar.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here in my basement. It's a little hot. It's pretty dark, which I'm
the self-employed boy.
Aspect. But dude, I am bored out of my mind, feeling very uninspired, and I'm just pouring caffeine down my throat, hoping for something to happen. And I'm struggling today.
Short on clients this week, or what? I had a schedule for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of both. I mean, most of my clients are at Podcast Movement right now.
Ooh.
So it's going to be a slow week. I feel like we kind of got ahead the last week. That in conjunction with slowing down at Tesla, everything kind of slowed down at once. So there's a little stress over money right now, but might have just got another potential client yesterday.
That's good news.
Yeah. So, we're keeping it together. But it's very transitional, which is exciting in and of itself. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. In and of itself, it is.
For all intensive purposes.
Yes.
So.
In conjunction.
What's your function?
With the intents and the purposes as well. Indeed, it is.
Speaking of transitional, there are a lot of things happening on our end that we've been...
Plenty, some might say.
Kind of quiet about. I didn't know we were even going to be talking about this until it happened.
Let's get into it.
Well, you know what? Let's hold the big reveal off.
Whoa, nice tease. Half. I like it. You're gonna have to stay tuned, folks, because there's something around the corner. But we're not right there. We're not there yet.
So we have been. I don't want to say at each other's throats. That's not the right.
I would say that.
Right term. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
About this whole, what do we do with the novel that was written that is titled Ron Carnage, The Thinker Boy?
Right. It was an Elemental project back when Elemental was still a thing. Technically, it is not anymore, even though it lives in our hearts, your heart, and the hearts of any Ad Astra fans out there, which is a good show about space you should listen to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Actually, they're taking a break right now. So.
Oh, well, there's a backlog of good stuff. And they're good dudes. But yeah, there was this project from those days that still exists. And Matt had brought it up on Twitter. And shout out to Brendan and Amanda and some of the other loyal fans that don't get name dropped enough on this show. There was some fun on Twitter this week where we jokingly said we were going to drop the ebook, but only for residents of Winnipeg. Anyway, Tom and I are forever in disagreement about how we should go about doing that, which for me is we should just publish the words anywhere as quick as possible for free and let people feast on them. But Tom is a man who likes showmanship, which is not a negative thing at all. And I don't want to imply that. And I don't want to start off on a bad foot, because really all you would argue for is good art and good presentation and promotion as well, which is all fine things and probably important.
So where I'm coming from, I know that having been in a few bands that would just kind of drop songs with no warning, no hype, no one heard the damn thing. And
yeah, but the people that want to and mattered heard it, I bet.
Sure, but I'm reading a book called Launch, which is literally about launching products or services.
Well, stop reading it.
Books. And the one thing that they really want people to stop doing is what the book calls hope marketing, where, I'll just put it out there. People will find it, and if they like it, they'll tell their friends. Because, sure, that happens sometimes. But if you can kind of hack your own growth or create your own publicity around it, why not take the time to do that? You only have one chance to launch a new thing. Once the book is out, we can't say it's new after, a couple weeks, maybe. I just think that if we're going to put this book out, we should do it right. And your argument is that, well, no one's reading it now, so who cares if we put it out there and not many people read it? It's better than what we're doing now. And I get that, but I think we should try to do it right. And that's totally where I'm coming from. It was a lot of effort, not much on my part, but I'm willing to put the work in now and the effort now to try to make it a success on day one.
Yeah. Nothing you said is outlandish at all.
But there's a lot of resistance to that coming from you, right?
There's a chunk of stuff that exists from back when we were doing it. And we could just, Amazon has the direct to Kindle thing where it's free to host there. There's just ways to just do it super easily and just put it out for the people that want it. And plus, I don't know, that's kind of the spirit of the show too. It's we have our core fans and they can enjoy it if they want. And, it wouldn't be thank goodness we made all this money because this was a smashing success. It's not like we're relying on it. You know what I mean? It's just give it to the people that want it and care. And if they want to buy it for really, I don't know. There's different things that we could take little chunks and release them for $1 on Amazon, or maybe release a collection for $5 or whatever, and just let people have it for dirt cheap. And if they want it on that Kindle Marketplace thing, and that's my vision for it. Again, it's just I don't know how much more fanfare we could drum up. I guess I just don't know what, I don't know. Because we've posted to social before about this show, and there was only so much stuff you can drum up and all that. Anyhow, I don't know. It's just obviously a fear that really comes down to just a fear of failure anyway. So it's I just put it out, and the people that want to enjoy it can and give feedback and share it if they want to. And obviously that's a low risk thing, and that's coming from a place of, but also we don't need it to feel good. We just want to share with the people that like us already, is my take,
I think what's interesting is we started kind of taking notes on what we were going to talk about this episode. And I was editing a podcast for a client at the same time. And the episode is entirely about an author who self-publishes books. And he was talking about what you should and what you should not do, and about marketing and promotions. And what he said is that it's almost guaranteed your first book is not going to be a success, but to keep writing anyway. And his example was Dan Brown, who did the, what's it called? The Tom Hanks movie.
Castaway?
No, the Catholic
Gump?
Church one.
Yeah. Angels and Spirits and Gods. It's the Nicolas Cage movie that isn't a Nicolas Cage movie. It's National Treasure, but in Rome. It's called Angels and Demons.
Well, that was the second one. That was the second one. I forget what the first one was called.
The Da Vinci Codes.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. There you go.
Yeah.
He wrote the Da Vinci Code.
I knew I was going to get it. I had to run through a surprisingly amount of things that were not it. I thought I was going to get it sooner.
So his example was that
I know it's not Angels and Airways, but I thought that would trigger something in my brain, and it did not. It did not even come close. Free association does not work, I don't think, probably, in most cases.
So his Dan Brown example was that, I already forgot the name, damn it, the Da Vinci Code was his fourth book. That became a huge success, and then all of a sudden his first three books became a success because people were able to go through his backlog and yada yada. So I think a part of that also plays into your, well, let's just write more books, right? We already have For the Love of the Hurl coming. Just put a bunch out there, and when one of them hits, they all kind of will.
Yeah, I think like we have this chunk of stuff that's goofy as crap and is what it is. And if we want to keep with some of the people we were working with before, just get it together and try to make stuff that we like. And this one's pretty much like, I don't even know, I wouldn't call it a complete thought, but I mean, like, we can start from scratch and a new thing is better based on what we've learned and everything, you know? So it's like, take this chunk, polish it up, and put it out to, you know, I don't know, because this isn't going to be the one that blows up, you know, as far as, I don't know, like you said, keep moving forward, and we just have this chunk of thing that doesn't have to be dead weight necessarily.
Sure. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily dead weight, especially since I'm not the one writing it. So if I'm investing time into trying to build hype and do some like marketing and promotions beforehand, it's not taking away from anything, I don't think. But I am also in the camp of, let's spend the money to get some great artwork done, because
don't you already have that octopus?
Well, I mean, that's just Gene. That's not a book cover.
Why not, though? We already have it.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't have to make sense. I mean, like, literally, it's like, this is where we always come to a head. You're like, let's spend money. And like, we don't have to do that. You know, we just don't.
Well, there's literally a saying about judging a book by its cover.
Yeah. Well, let's make it just the words of the title. I don't know. Like it.
I want to have a killer. If we're not going to put much effort into anything, I at least want the first impression to be a good one.
Okay, then do that awesome. You already got that awesome octopus thing. And be like, but it doesn't make sense. And be like, it will if you read it. It's books 101, Tom. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, half of this is me giving you a hard time, but also like, who cares? Who cares? I don't know. Like,
I mean, I want it to be good. If it's not gonna, like, if we're not gonna give it 100%, I'd rather give it 0%.
Then give it 0%.
It's kind of how I feel.
That's what I'm saying. I'm arguing for 0%. I'm arguing for absolutely 0%. It is what it is. People who listen to the show know what it is essentially anyway. So just like slap an octopus on it, put it out there, and if they want to pay $2 to like giggle 4 times, then it depends how much. I don't know what the going rate. I don't know what the market price for giggles or chortles are, but you know, it'll be dirt cheap.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, if it came down to it, I would spend the money to get a good cover done. And with Amazon, there is a print on demand function. So if someone really likes the ebook, they can spend like, $15 to get a paperback book made. And then you have like the whole spread, the little, the binding down the side and the back, like about the author type stuff. And I mean, that's an option, and I want to buy the book for myself. So there has to be artwork for it. I'm willing to spend the money on it. Okay. I don't think we necessarily have to spend several $100s on copy editing, especially I don't know, man. I mean, if I had it my way, right, I'd get like a $5,000 investor to pay for the editing, pay for any rewrites that need to be done, like really act as if this was going to be a New York Times bestseller. It's obviously that's not the way it's going. But if I have to put in 4 months of pre-launch and launch date, marketing and promotions, I can do that. I'll do it.
Do you have an investor?
No.
Matt? What's up, Matt? Brendan?
Matt.
Welcome to the party, dude. You got a cool
Caitlin,
5Gs? Yeah, what's up?
So, I mean, I would love to...
That went from do you have $2 to do you have $5,000 in the shortest amount of time possible.
I mean, yeah, I totally want to do it right. But, Yeah, it's just...
we can just keep creating stuff and then
Yeah.
make it a collection of essays later or something.
It's just, it's hard. It's hard to know what to do.
I think we always come back to email the show if you want us to send you a copy, because we
Sure.
are more than willing.
And I think a biggest part of the problem is, again, I've experienced this through being in bands and doing this podcast. Your friends are not your fans, and they're not going to be your audience, right? I can post on Facebook every day.
You hear that, Matt?
Oh,
Brendan? Amanda? This is not a two-way relationship. Or it is. It's either a one-way or a two-way.
No, your fans can be your friends, but like my friends...
That muddies the waters, dude. The waters were clear, but they are getting murkier by the minute.
Like, my friends don't listen to the show for the most part. If I post this on Facebook,
I listen to the show.
Pat, God damn. But like, my friends didn't listen to my band, right? It was random people in Illinois who found it.
No, I know what you're saying.
So just marketing it to the people we already know is as good as marketing to no one. So you have to go beyond that. And it takes a while to figure that stuff out, right? You have to like, I want to like read books and listen to podcasts on how to market a self-published book, because that's the kind of person I am, I guess. But I think we were kind of discussing, I don't remember if it was on the episode or if we were just texting each other about having it done by Christmas. Is that
Yeah, just because, I don't know, we could or we could not also. It does, none of this matters.
God damn.
This all came from wanting to change the show format too once we hit 100 episodes, which is mostly where we went down this road of like State of the Union, like what's going on. And that's something probably we can start talking about now if you're down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Carnage stuff is going to be. I mean, we send it to Matt because he asked if you want to read the manuscript or the transcript, you can have it. Like it doesn't matter. It's just some goofy crap that is fun. But the show, I mean, I'm going to get married in the fall, and kind of the arc of where we started will have been completed. And you were talking about, well, I mean, we're still going to be actively aging, so will the arc ever be completed? No, but you were just saying that, it's no secret that our musical episodes and stuff where we focus on topics do better, and people seem to enjoy those more anyhow, as opposed, there are a few hardcore people that amazes me, to be honest, that have been starting at 1 and listening all the way through to actually hear the arc of the show.
Yeah, what the hell?
Somebody commented on the fewer beer bottles being clanked from like the earlier episodes to now, which I had to laugh because when we first started the show, I was doing Distance with Jesse, and Tom and I would just talk. And the shows were longer and definitely more rambly. This one is definitely longer, yeah, for sure. Every like joke about podcasting you've read on the internet applied very much to those first 30 episodes. It was like a cookie cutter version of what not to do. Anyway, the shows have gotten shorter and more concentrated, and we were thinking about changing. Right? I mean, I've been rambling for a minute. I'll let you kind of take it from here, Tom. But that's how all of this came about. The Carnage stuff got kicked back up.
Right. I think we had this conversation maybe 10 or 15 episodes ago about like rebranding, new artwork, a new name, whatever.
Right.
I don't want to do a new name. I've never been a massive fan of the artwork. Like, I love what it represents because it was a very special.
Right. It was built for a third host on the show,
right.
Also.
Right.
Zach, again, could not make it this week as well.
But leading up to the wedding, we did a lot of episodes where we just talked about kind of our lives, and I started to feel like this isn't what I want to be talking about, and it made it feel like, yes, our topic-based episodes are much more successful. They're actually like able to be promoted on
Well, just think
Reddit
if you're
or
looking through your iPhone before a flight, you're like, I don't know what the heck electric book, or I don't know, just like half of the episode titles are on purpose nonsense. But then you'll see like, oh, they did an actual full hour on a single My Chemical Romance video. Like, yeah, that's
right.
I know that.
And that one got like quadruple the normal downloads we usually get,
which is 4 times what we usually get.
So there's like 8 downloads, right?
Yeah, times several of those chunks. No, it did well, and
and so we were just talking about doubling down.
The first time we tried a topic, we did Tom DeLonge. He had just done his new company's like launch newser, and we both watched a couple interviews he'd done, one with Joe Rogan and things like that. and we did our. Tom's a big fan. Well, we're both Blink fans. We're both fans of space. You might be a little more hardcore than I am, but I had just bought his book, Secret Machines, and we were really into it, and we put out a really good episode, and people really liked that one because it was timely and it was important. It felt important at the time.
And that one had like 50 times the normal downloads. I mean, there's several thousand downloads on that episode.
Yeah.
So it was good, right? We want to try to replicate that.
Right.
This show isn't about numbers at all. I mean, I'll go weeks without checking how many downloads we got because it doesn't really matter.
We did a Taylor Swift. Well, we did the Taylor Swift Katy Perry debate episode, which did well also. And then we got kind of high on the topic thing and did a Reputation album review, trying to stay up with the topic. But I don't know if it was only a week to listen to the songs, and that wasn't enough time to let the songs land and really give an honest review of it. And it did well because it was topical and searchable in the moment. But I don't think either of us were truly. I don't know. What do you think about that? I feel like we were getting too into. It wasn't what the show was at the time. Meanwhile, we were doing some of the journaling episodes where you were starting a new boxing gym thing, and those episodes don't do as well. But that's where we get the most enjoyment out of it. I don't know. What did you think? I mean, that's kind of was in my head how it happened. We started hitting on a couple topic episodes. The Hanson Power Hour came back and restored it's probably what people want, or when they search or hear the show, they seem to enjoy those the most.
So yeah, the Hanson episode was fun, and I think what we have the most fun doing and what we do best is talking about a topic, but rather than being almost like news based, like our Reputation review was, taking something that's not relevant anymore and talking about how it relates to us in our lives personally and giving our thoughts on it rather than a review.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things are from the early 2000s or whatever. So we were talking about do we really lean into since the name of the show is already reminiscent and we were both born in the 90s, right? I was born in 91, you were born in 90.
Yeah, but some of the topics we do best are really just meaningless slices of the 2000s, really, right? I mean,
yeah, but
if we move forward in that direction, it's going to be mostly. I mean, we're going to do a brand new Taking Back Sunday feud episode. Because if we tried to go true 90s and do the Eazy-E Dr. Dre feud episode, we would not only do an awful episode, we're just so underqualified to do the first half of the 90s because we were toddlers at the time.
Yeah. So I think it'll be mostly early 2000s, and the 90s and early 2000s kind of bleed together, so whatever. But that does raise one of my concerns is that so I sent you a bunch of artwork kind of mock-ups yesterday that really play into the kind of Angry Beavers, right? Rugrats, Fresh Prince.
Definitely a 90s thing.
Imagery, right?
It was really well done for what it was.
Oh, thanks, man.
Dare you put it in the show notes, dude?
Not yet. I'm worried about pigeonholing. Is that the word? Pigeonholing us into we can only talk about things that are reminiscent of our childhood, because I mean, every now and then there will be episodes where, maybe the day I become self-employed and I quit my job at Tesla, I want to be able to talk about that stuff and talk about our lives. I don't want to have to talk about early 2000 stuff every single week. But I don't know. It's just, it's been interesting to think about. I mean, it's only been the past few days, what a rebrand would look like, right? Would keep the same name, have different artwork. And I think with a rebrand and also refocusing what we talk about, the show will be easier to promote because most weeks would be topical. And then we can, write an article or have set imagery about that. Like the NSYNC episode, I was photoshopping my face on all the members of NSYNC, and I'm going to be putting that out online somewhere. Just doing that kind of stuff will be easier, because when I'm talking about joining a boxing gym, how do you promote that?
Right.
And does anyone
Well, that
really
was another
care?
fight we had. You was going to put me on the NSYNC thing, and I was like, I'm not about that life. I don't want this. I didn't want this.
Yeah, I was going to put our faces on NSYNC.
Yeah, and you texted me a photo where, it was just I was like, isn't this funny? I was like, at the expense of my face, how I look. So it's Depends who's laughing. Yeah, I don't know. So we just have such vastly different views on stuff like that. But I just had to interject there because it's been a rocky week. We almost gave up on the friendship overall, guys. It was almost that was it. That was going to be it for us.
Well, the thing about putting you on the In Sync, I just took like some of our wedding photos, and my thing is like doing crappy Photoshop, like making it look really bad. But your face blended in so well that it would like honestly take a double take to realize that it was not the original photo. Like it was so
Pat flew to
seamless.
Denver and put on a white beater with some Jinkos. What sucks is that the photo that fit the best was the one where he caught me not smiling, right? So it was just like me, like blink smirking. And it was just a truly it was an upsetting image.
No, dude, you look good.
Oh, well,
come
thank you.
Come on.
Thank you, Tom.
You're an attractive guy, Pat. Quit putting yourself.
Yeah, but the half blank smirk, you can't have it. I mean, Diane Keaton, Hollywood legend. I'm sure there's a photo out there where she didn't say cheese when they counted to 3 or something.
Oh, man.
I only say that because I watched this movie because I said so on the plane because it was like $3 in iTunes. And it had this star-studded cast, and it is so bad. It was like my new thing is trying to find the best A-list cast with the worst possible Rotten Tomatoes rating. It had Mandy Moore, Diane Keaton, Tom Everett Scott, the mom from Gilmore Girls, Piper Perabo, and the dad from Seventh Heaven. I was like, oh my God, there's no way this movie's bad. And it had a 4. Like 4%? I mean, the puke thing shows up when you get under 50, I think. I was like, there's got to be a below 5%, like darker puke or something, because this thing was rough. But I thought it was good enough. I don't know. Anyway, that's a quick aside and why I mentioned Diane Keaton in the first place. I mean, she flounders with that role. It is hard to watch. Like if you watch Annie Hall and then you watch Because I Said So, you'd be like, what has happened here? It's like jarring to say the least. Anyway, entertaining film for $4 or $3 or whatever, I would say. It's like an hour and 37 minutes long. It has no business being as long as it is. It is just an incredible feat of American pop culture. Man, what a cast. Anyway, where were we?
No, thanks for that, Pat. That's great.
Yeah, it was an important aside. It really adds to the depth of the...
Can I please, for the love of God, please tweet that photo of you?
No. Yeah, no, I definitely hate it and don't want it. I feel bad raining on your parade. You were like, how cool is this? I'm like, it is not cool, and I don't like it.
You were so upset. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I think I want you to know the joke wasn't your face. I hope you know that.
No, I'll admit up front, everything we've talked about during this last 40 minutes or so is me just being like, I don't know,
you, Tom.
A wiener. No, not like upset at you. It's just like, I don't know. This is just where we don't see eye to eye, and I don't want to put my face on some of the stuff.
Sure. No, I understand. Yeah. But do we start a focus group on the rebranding of this podcast? Do we tweet out photos and take votes? Do we make a page on the website? I mean, what do we do?
Yeah, take it to the people. Let Matt and Brendan and Amanda and the hardcore fans. I don't know if Julie's still with us.
I don't know.
But yeah, what is it? 80, 90 episodes ago, you mailed me a microphone, and then it just kind of started. And you were thinking once we hit 100 is when we'll switch. So we have some time, but.
Yeah, we got like 4 months. So yeah, maybe.
So it'll definitely be past the wedding at that point then.
Yeah.
If we have 4 months worth of episodes.
I mean, it'll be about Christmas when the book drops.
Oh, I was talking like when would episode 100 be? Like in mid-November or something?
No, I think
October.
What month is it? Oh yeah, I guess it is before Christmas. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, you can do that vote thing on Instagram now. Maybe we take it to Instagram.
Ooh, do we have enough fans that would justify a vote?
We can work on it.
Wow.
I'll buy some fans. Yeah, for sure.
Nice, dude. Play the game.
Or make a page on the website. I don't know. I did just make a new page on the website today, and this will, again, just go seamlessly into our next segment.
Whoa.
We're going to be reading a mailbag. But I added an AMA, an Ask Me Anything page to the website where you can enter your name and ask us a question, and it'll dump it into a Google Drive, and we can start reading questions on the show that you may have.
Stop sending letters to my apartment.
Yeah. We need to digitalize this. We might be transitioning into a show in the early 2000s, but it is, in fact, almost 2019. We can put all this on the internet,
which you could have in the early 2000s, but
not like this. It would be difficult for sure. But yeah, if you go to reminiscentpodcast.com/ask, you can ask some questions, and we'll read it in the mailbag segments. And we are going into that now with some physical mail here. It was mailed to your hotel in North Carolina, correct?
This one for Kathy in Charlotte. How much do you tip?
Ooh, how much do I tip? I mean, I guess it's around 20. I'll take the total and, quick math, double it, and then just kind of round up to the closest dollar. Yeah, it's about 20, I guess. Although,
do you do that for non-food related services?
Meaning what?
Oh, taxis, anything. Like, do you just go like 18 to 20 across the board, or is there? I think there was a Seinfeld episode about like what.
Yeah.
Is there a set percentage for different types of goods and services, and how aware is everybody of the? But I mean, if you stick with 20, are you being the right amount of courteous?
I mean, it's interesting. I found out that I was way over tipping on tattoos for a long time because I was tipping like based on percentage, which would end up being like $50 for a tattoo. And I had a friend who was a tattooer that was like, dude, just give them $10. Like they're already getting however many $100 an hour, Taxis, typically in Uber and Lyft, I don't tip just because it wasn't even an option for so long. And that's how they built their business. This is actually a conversation on, I think it was Cortex or Hello Internet or something. It kind of took away from the beauty of it in the first place and the ambiguity of how much you tip in a cab. It's super weird. When we had our furniture delivered, I think I gave each of the guys like $20. I tend to be like super generous with it because I think the way that our system is now is absolute bullshit. And I think that tipping shouldn't be necessary because people just get paid a fair wage.
But they some of these tech giants get built on, not fair, right? I mean, you look at Amazon delivery drivers and things like that, some of the conditions they deal with. That's a whole other can of worms, but not that you can tip your delivery driver, but
yeah.
If people are doing the side hustle, could they use to, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that kind of goes into like, I always buy the paid version of an app as well because I figure if you pay for it, it has a better chance of sticking around and also getting new features. So I tend to like to pay extra for services, hoping that it'll keep getting better and it'll keep being available. That kind of went off a different conversation there, but
well, that's all right.
I try to tip as much as I can.
20, is that what we're getting for Kathy here?
Yeah, pretty much. What about you?
Yeah, I 10% of a dollar, or I do the 10%, double it, and then see where I'm at in my head. The mental math is just easier that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's $26, I'll just tip like $5, right, or $6.
Right. Yeah. So usually, if you go out to eat or something, it's somewhere in between 20 and 30. So I'll be like, I'll just go 2, 4, and get to 20. Right. Because 2 for every $10, and then just kind of work from there. Kind of whatever feels right. If it's service that has actively made my life harder, then I'll hit them with a calculator and go exactly 18, but I don't go below 18.
Well, the thing that pisses me off about tipping is they say like, oh, well, it's for good service. But if things are f***ed up for your meal, it's rarely the server's fault, right? I mean, there's however many other people involved in it. So I just think give whatever percentage you're going to.
I know, you look around, if the restaurant's busy and they're slammed and somebody drops something and it's just like they're having a shitty day at work. And I don't know, it's like.
For our rehearsal dinner at the wedding, they had one server for like 25 of us. And then there was a party of like 20 people in the same room and they only had one server. And again, like they kept forgetting us, like the bride and the groom, they kept forgetting to give us our and the service was terrible, but I knew it wasn't her fault. They should have had a staff of at least 3 people. And although I didn't tip because I didn't take care of the bill, it made me want to give her even more money, even though the service was terrible because I knew it wasn't her fault. Her boss fucked up.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day. It was like some dude gained like 10% on a $60 bill at a bar, or some bartender was speaking, and then she was like, and then some millennial just like doubled their, like paid twice as much for the single drink because she was in a rush, and I let her charge her phone. It's just like
Right.
the age thing where people now kind of definitely more. It's not like this is so I won't tip. Like that's never the option. Kind of, I think I don't know if it was ever not that, but this bartender's take was that perhaps people who are 30 and younger, or 35 and younger, even maybe have a different outlook in general and are a little more generous with that sort of thing, which is probably for the better.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up, but I think we get the point of it. I think most people closer to our age range have experienced the struggle because, the baby boomers had everything handed to them pretty much, so they didn't have to experience the struggle of, waiting a table, getting paid $3 an hour so that your paycheck came out to zero. We've had to fight our way to pay the bills, whereas previous generations haven't had such a hard time. So I think we're more generous, even though we have less money than they did, which sounds totally backwards, but more empathy, I guess. So yeah, I think there's definitely more of that nowadays.
This one is from Karen in Yakima, Washington. Tom, what are your general thoughts about the Pacific Northwest? # upper left US.
I have family in Yakima, actually. Pacific Northwest is something that's been on my mind a bit because I don't like the sun. It's currently raining and cloudy, right? Fuck the sun. It's currently cloudy in Denver, and I'm loving it. When we were in Kauai, it kind of rained off and on all day, every day. And I think that the Pacific Northwest might be the closest to that. So we've thought about what would Seattle look like if we moved there. We spent a little bit of time at the Seattle airport on our way to Kauai. Didn't really get a good feel for the city in that instance, but I would like to experience sometime, but it's definitely been on our mind to check out, and Seattle made the short list, actually Seattle and Portland, for when we were deciding where to move, and we ended up going to Denver, but it's been a thought. Would never write it off. Mountains are cool. The ocean is cool. The sun is lame. And we'll check
that's the hottest take ever released on this show.
Or is it the
coolest?
I didn't want to say because I knew it wasn't funny coming out.
Well, hey, it's temperature related humor.
Have you ever been to the Pacific Northwest?
Seattle once, and I thought it was lovely.
Oh, Pat. Sorry. No, continue. I have.
No, you sounded too excited. What's up? I
have breaking news.
Oh, man. Just into the news desk.
PodCon. It's different than Podcast Movement. It's more like VidCon, where fans go to see their favorite podcasters. But there's also some stuff to learn there. It is January 19th to the 20th, and in Seattle, and I'm going. And I know that you had mentioned maybe coming to Denver to hang out for the weekend.
Yes.
Sometime in January. Mm-hmm. Do we just go to Seattle?
Yes, but also Zach. Maybe he could just meet us there. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you were going to fly individually into Denver.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We just have Zach come to Seattle. Is that the play?
Well, I mean, see, it's hard because I work weekends now. It would be hard to take off 2 weekends in 1 month because then no one does any surveying if I'm not there.
No, I mean, instead of going to Denver, just go to do that 1 weekend in Seattle.
But what I'm thinking is if you would prefer to just come to Denver, I can maybe work something out to where I flip my schedule with the other guy. So I can have a weekend with you guys and a weekend in Seattle and not miss any work.
Whoa.
That might be an option.
No, wait a minute. That sounds pretty tasty.
Yeah. I mean, my question is, would you rather go to a conference in Seattle or spend a weekend in Denver?
If Zach is there, the mission of what the Denver jaunt, the spirit of it would be alive if we all just went to Seattle, yes. I think so.
Oh, you think so? Even if we were at a conference for 10 hours?
I just wanted to get together, so it doesn't really matter to me where. The only thing is flights into Denver are pretty cheap because Frontier runs.
Yes. The flights into Seattle are pretty inexpensive as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely worth looking into. Depends how much the hotels would be and stuff, but
Yeah, the conference itself was like $90 or something. It's not very much.
That is a lot. That is plenty.
Dude, Podcast Movement's like, I mean, right now it's like $600. If you bought it,
still a lot.
Okay.
It is. What?
For a conference,
I thought it was like, let's go to this free thing, and then
for 2 days. It's a 2-day conference for $90.
That sounds dumb to me. I'm sorry for being
okay. So we're not going to Seattle.
Yeah, probably. It's like, hey, there's this thing. Let's go attend it. It's like, all right. Like it's $1,000. Like, oh, that's yeah. I can just listen to the shows I download for free and enjoy them.
Okay, so I'll go to Seattle on my own.
That sounds great.
And then
this isn't anything like whenever we run into these things. It's not me saying, I guess I don't like you, Tom. It's just like I just don't want to do that, and I don't want to spend that money.
Okay. So Pat hates me. Yep. So, all right.
We're disagreeing about how to release the book.
Doesn't like.
He thinks 90's kind of steep for a conference related to exclusively podcasts.
We're fighting. So God, well, that's on that note. That's kind of where this ends, right? I mean, we're at that time.
Know. We can go to Seattle. Whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I think. I mean, ultimately, I want to have the best time with you guys as possible. If we're not going to have the best time possible at PodCon, that's fine. I'll make it work to have 2 weekends off or flip my schedule or whatever.
Well, would Zach have to? I mean, like making Zach pay $90 to go to a thing he's not invested in at all will also be kind of like,
Yeah, you're
unfair.
Right. Maybe
unfair.
Maybe I'll go to PodCon alone. Or I think
is there a different pod related con to?
Not that I know.
Is there just one in Denver that's free that I can just take a quick taxi to?
Well, we can have PodCon in my basement.
PodCon.
We'll sell tickets and make money.
But spell it PAWDCAWN. And it'll be our own personal
PodCon. Sounds good.
Ooh.
All right. Well, this is getting off the rails.
No, it'll be PrawCon, and it'll be like shrimp and krill related seafood.
Denver's really well known for its seafoods.
Krill Fest. No. The Trill Krill Fest, yeah. Keeping it krill. All right. We should end the show. All right. Thanks for anyway, we're rebranding everybody. There's turmoil in the kingdom for real. It's going down. So if we come back next week, it'll be a miracle. I don't know if we can get past this. So. Talk to you later, but maybe not. So deuces, fam. I don't know. No, take that part out. I don't want to hear people hear me say the word fam. But also, goodbye, my friend, and I love you. And we shall speak soon.
Love you too, man. See ya.
Bye.